everyone. Welcome to an exciting episode of the tier lists. Today we will be talking about how far I think the Disventure Camp Season 5 characters in Fans vs. Favorites will last. So this shouldn't be too long of a video, but I do want to say something before we start. Tom's voice actor, Jace Hansen, has been recast by Mackenzie McClure, who is the current voice of Alessio. And the reason for this is, and this is public information on Jace's Instagram, is that they are considering career changes and they're just very busy. And of course, this is a little emotional for me. I wouldn't say I was friends with Jace Hansen, but I did work with them for about a year during the Disventure Camp All-Stars proofreading phase. And to see another alumni of the OG days, the 2022 to 2023 days, depart, they're not dead, of course, but is sad. I do miss them. I do think that they brought a lot of life to Tom, and I'm very thankful that I got to meet them, and we got to create All-Stars together, with the rest of the proofreaders, of course. But yeah, I thought I would mention that because, people come and go, and as sad as it can be, I think that everyone has a time to go, so yeah. So we'll start with Tom here. I think Tom most likely will be the endgame pick. And now this is a bit meta, but there's always that one character that one character who is more so in a gay relationship that always makes it far. I know that's not technically what happened in DC 1, but that tends to be the trend. And even then you had Ellie, who is LGBT, right? But I think Tom will most likely, this is his run. I think All-Stars was Jake's deep run. This will be Tom's deep run. I don't think he will win. That doesn't seem to be something that they like doing, perhaps because they already favor these storylines a lot. So of course they're not going to have them be the winner as well. But I think Tom will at least make the endgame. I don't know. In the relationship with Jake, it would be fitting if Tom also got second place, but who knows? Who knows? I think there's a lot you can do with Tom, even looking at this cast. You have Aiden, the friendship with Aiden. You have the friendship with Gabby. I don't know what else you could do, but I think there's a lot to explore with Tom's mental health, with his psyche, just like how All-Stars and parts of DC1, most of DC1 actually, were big involvements of Jake's mental health and his mental traumas and his growth as a person. I do think that DC 5 can be one for Tom. I can already see him being a major character. I can't see him go early. I think that would be a choice, a very unique choice if he goes early. It wouldn't be unfounded, especially because he already has the Tom Jake thing, and maybe it's a subversion, but right now I think that they want to give Tom a deep run, and this is the chance. This is the one chance they have. They might as well go for it. Next up, we have Alec, who, I don't know what I can see about Alec. Alec is the character that I think is probably going to be cut off as early as possible. Not because he doesn't have any plots, just because he was a big driving force in both Season 1 and Season 3. I don't really know if they would do that again for Season 5. Of course, we have Fiory here, but I do think that while All-Stars was the time to see Alec without Fiory, I think we're going to see Fiory without Alec. He will probably be an early boot. I think out of the 12 characters here, he's the one that I would say is, like, maybe the first 7 episodes and he's gone. There's another character later down the line that I'm like, they are so early boot coded. I don't know, don't expect a lot out of Alec. I will say, like, late pre-merge. I can see him lasting, like, 7 or 8 or 9 eliminations. Remember, this is a cast of 24, so that's still a long time. But yeah, I can see this season giving him the closure to the storyline that he didn't really get in Season 1 or All-Stars. All-Stars, he kind of went out on a whimper because of the Rhea and Connor storyline, so I can see him going out here. I'm excited to see what he can do, because maybe it'll show that he's a better person now. Maybe it'll show that he's a worse person now, and it'll double down on it. I don't know, and it is interesting, because Alec is such a fascinating character, because he's such a big part in the first 2 seasons, but he never makes the finals. He's always taken out kind of abruptly, and it's interesting. Anyway, Gabby is up next, and I don't know. She has an 8th place curse. I can't really see her going far, because Gabby, especially without Ellie or Gret, is in an interesting position where she is just a fun comic relief sort of character. I don't really think there's a whole lot to explore. I can see her going early, and it would annoy me if she is kind of taken out and she's like used as Tom's motivation. She's being fridged, kind of like what Ashley was to Jake. But I do like the idea of what Ashley going in the merge boot represented for Jake. So I don't know. I think Gabby. I'll put Gabby here. Like some of these, like we all want these fan favorites to make the merge at least, but it's a cast of 24. Some of them will be pre-merge. That's still at least what, like 10, 11, 12 episodes. It's still a lot of time. But I think Gabby is one of the ones that I'm like, yeah, she's probably like, I can see her being like one of the ones at the very end, 13th or 14th place, 12th place even. But yeah, I think she's pre-merge. I think she's making it to around the halfway point. Fiory is an interesting one because she's another one that I think you can just use for comic relief, like what she was in All Stars, but you can also showcase how much she's grown as a person because, again, she started the series as a 6-year-old, now she's a 10-year-old, she's still a child, but maybe she's grown, maybe she's matured, and it is interesting. I always thought that Fiory and Lake, by virtue of being the two youngest characters, it's the most interesting to see their growth from younger people to slightly older people. I do think that season 5 is a little sooner than I would have liked, maybe like season 7 or season 8 where she's like a teenager, but I don't know, I don't mind this. I don't know where she would last though, because like it's really like what they're gonna do with the storyline. Are they gonna double down that she's just evil but not a bad person? Is it gonna be maybe she's trying to be better? I don't know. I feel like that would bastardize the character a bit if they try to make her good, but like I don't know. Okay, I'll put Alec in early pre-merge. I think Alec will probably be one of the first 6 boots. I can see Fiory being one of the first like 12 boots. I don't know. I can't really see this character making it that far, to be honest. As fun as that would be, I think Odd Nation Cartoons has always prioritized more story-driven moments rather than the fun character stuff. You look at DC4, a lot of the more gimmicky sort of like fun characters are early, and you don't usually get like an Owen or a Tyler or Noah or whatever that lasts a bit longer than they should, you know, in terms of just providing levity. So I don't know. I can see her being a late pre-merger. I do think that while it does sacrifice a character slot, there's a bit of opportunity cost because you're sacrificing a slot that could go to a more important character. Giving it to a more comic relief character can go a long way in terms of enjoyment of the season, comic relief. I guess that's kind of what Miriam was in DC. I'm not saying Miriam is like a joke character, but the Miriam Miracle memes back in 2023, if you remember that, that's kind of an example. And maybe that's why DC1 is more, and honestly Fiory is more of a lighthearted character as well because she's like cartoonish. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna skip DC2 for now. We'll do DC4 just because I don't really remember DC4 a whole lot, so I feel like I don't have a lot to say. Benji is interesting because this season was written early on in DC4's life cycle, I think March or April. So I think that's when Benji was super popular. He's still popular, but I don't know. I can see Benji being another character that does make a deep, not a deep run, but a deeper run. He can be used as funny gags. He can be used as just a supportive person. He can learn about himself. He can be the reference machine. I don't know. Because half the cast are people we've never met before, it's a big mystery what the dynamics will be. But I can see Benji kind of being like in that test spot where 2 seasons and he's just kind of floating around the the middle stage. I can see Benji making merge though. I think that you do need some. Out of all the DC4 characters, he's the one that I'm like, he's probably making early merge. Spencer, like we have to remember that just because someone has 2 deep runs like Alec doesn't mean that they're going to be an early boot, but that's what it seems like right now. Just because someone has a merge boot and then a pre-merge boot like Fiory doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to make it super far. Like these trends are, you can speculate all you want, but I don't think they're indicative of anything, right? Rhea in her 2 seasons made the final 2 twice, right? So, I mean, like, sometimes it happens. Miriam and James were both taken out immediately, taken out extremely early, right? But, I don't know. I'm sure there's a mathematical formula that someone like Emer would probably be down to deduce, but I don't know. We'll see. Spencer. Spencer is a character who I think he didn't get a lot. No, sorry, he got a lot. He didn't get a love story in DC4, as in like no end-game love story, and I'm wondering if that's because they're saving it for this season, where in this season he falls in love with one of the probably the fans. That might be a little weird, create like a power imbalance sort of narrative, but I do think that Spencer is a character who they're saving for the season. They made him 9th place for a reason. I think this will be Spencer's season to shine. I don't think he'll be endgame, but I think that endgame, by the way, is like top 6. You know what? I don't know. I'm looking at all these characters. Oh man, I'm looking at all these characters. I'm trying to think. Okay, I think Spencer will probably be endgame. I think Spencer will most likely be in the top 6. I think he'll probably get a love plot. I think he'll discover about himself. He might be a bit villainous. I don't think he's going to win, ultimately. It would be cool if he did. I do think that we're most likely getting a fan winner. I know that a favorite winner would be nice. Give one of these characters a well-deserved win, but I do think that it's probably going to be a fan that wins. And the favorite who makes it to the end will be like, okay, at least we grew as people, and that's good. Natalia is, in my opinion, Natalia and Benji kind of have that same slot where they're kind of like, they both were in the middle of the road in their seasons. They lasted around the middle, and I think she's going to be the same. I don't really know what they're going to do with her. Again, they didn't really give her a whole lot to do in her original season, so I'm not sure what they'll do for this season. Obviously, she's trans, just like Aiden, so I'm sure there'll be a cute friendship, and that'll be nice. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she'll help out people. Maybe she'll be kind of strategic and all that, but I don't know. It's hard to foresee right now. I don't think this is the kind of character that can make it that far with what we know of them so far. I think Season 4 is interesting because Season 4 is not really setting up Season 5, I don't think, at least. That's what I gather. I think the exception might be kind of Spencer, but like I don't think Season 4 is setting up Season 5. Whereas Season 1 was definitely setting up All-Stars, right? I don't think Season 2 was setting up All-Stars, but it was kind of there with parts of Rhea, for example, and Connor. But yeah, I don't know what they'll do. The Season 4 characters, except Spencer, are kind of in this weird position. Anastasia is interesting because I can see her both being a late pre-merge boot, but also a mid-merge boot. I can't see her going super early, and I can't see her going super far. I know she's divisive, but when they were writing it, that wasn't nearly the case. Okay, she's always been divisive, but I think nowadays she's even more divisive than she was back in March or April. I don't know where I would put her. Well, okay, some of these favorites have to make it, like, some of these favorites have to go early, but some of them also have to make it far, right? That's just how the game works. I think she will probably be mid-merge boot. I don't know, because I can see her going early because she got so much screen time, but I think that Spencer and Anastasia are the two characters that will probably go far. And I know that's disappointing when you look at it, like Benji and Natalia both go earlier than Anastasia and Spencer again, but that's what I foresee. I think they can give her an arc that tries to damage control some of the writing choices they made in DC4 that people weren't really a big fan of, or they could double down. I don't know. It's hard to say because the writing process happened so early. For context, when we were writing All Stars, that was in July of 2023. That was when episode 6 of DC1 was coming out. Like I think people, this was when Dan got eliminated, and we were already writing the early parts of All Stars. So, it was interesting dynamic to see that come into play. And that's why some choices are the way that they are. That's why Gabby, who was not a fan favorite in early DC1 from the audience, doesn't get a lot of screen time. That's why Fiory is kind of the comic relief who gets injured a lot. That's why, what else? That's why Ashley is put in a more favorable light, because at the time Ashley was a really beloved character because the pre-mergers always get attention, right? That's why people want like Lil and Nick and Will and Ted and Kai and all these characters back who were pre-mergers, because like they didn't, Tristan and Ivy and and Alessio and Diego and all that stuff. It's like And Linda, you got to give these. They haven't had their full season yet, and to be fair, their stories were designed to be shorter, and that can be more appealing. Is that because there's that potential, right? So there's that. Next up, we have Rosa, and I think Rosa is probably going to be. It's going to be interesting, but I think she's probably making early merge. Rosa's an interesting character because she's the only one that wasn't in All Stars out of the DC1 and DC2 characters. I wish there were a few more non-All Stars, but maybe like a Lil or Nick, but they probably didn't want pre-mergers, or even Carol. Carol would be interesting actually, but they probably didn't want too many pre-mergers, and sadly, it's like your options are very limited. Rosa's really the only one who made merge that wasn't in All Stars in both the DC1 and the DC2 cast. Okay, other than Carol. So it makes sense because people were complaining a lot about the pre-mergers in All Stars, Connor and Ashley, and I guess Yule, but Yule, he's the villain, he deserves his slot, right? I can see Rosa being an early merge boot because it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think her and Lake are probably making the merge at least. I think they're going to get a storyline. I can't see a world where Rosa goes early. I think what's interesting is that this is a new Rosa. The fans don't know this Rosa yet. This is the DC2 Rosa, not the DC2 remastered Rosa, not the DC2 beta Rosa. And that can maybe cause some problems. I don't know, if people don't like this new Rosa, then, it'll be interesting to see her as a favorite, but I think people will probably like this Rosa. I don't see any major issues. It's just interesting to think about that people don't know this Rosa. So yeah, I think there's definitely storylines they can do with her about being a younger mother. She's 3 years older now. She's 22 years old than she was in the original, and it's gonna be fun to see her back. She's the one that's like, oh yeah, she wasn't back in All Stars, but now she's here. She's the only one that's like that, so there's some novelty there. I think Aiden. I think a lot of people probably peg Aiden as an early boot. I can't see Aiden being early. Aiden is such a iconic character for heat marketing and all that stuff, and you can do stuff that maybe he didn't get in All Stars. You can do friendship with Tom, friendship with Natalia, discovering himself, talk about James, and Lake as well. I forgot Lake's in this. You can do a lot with Aiden that you weren't able to do in All Stars. I'm gonna say late pre-merge. I can see Aiden being like maybe, again, in that Gabby position where it's like 11th boot, 10th boot, 9th boot. I don't know, somewhere around there. That's still a lot of episodes. That's a lot more episodes than Kai ever got. But yeah, Aiden is the character that I think Aiden is a Swiss Army knife. You can do so much with Aiden. So much fun because Aiden is so sassy and Weister's great. But yeah, I think Aiden will probably be late pre-merge. People say early pre-merge, and I'm like, no way, there's no chance. There's no chance. Well, we'll actually do Allie first before Lake, just because Allie's dead. Allie's gonna be the first favorite gone. If Allie's not the first favorite gone, I will be shocked. She will last 3 episodes. She might be the first boot even, actually. Her story is done. I don't like that she's here. Her story was great in my opinion. Her story is great in All Stars. It was finished. I don't think she should be back, other than maybe, oh my gosh, everyone loves me, I'm happy, my relationship with Hunter is great, and then we move on, we boot her, and it's nice, but it's nice to see her grow. If she lasts longer than she should, and has like a storyline that serves as like an epilogue to All Stars, I will be a little annoyed because I think All Stars was a good ending for her. But I don't know, it really depends on the execution. I don't see her lasting long at all. I know people are saying like, oh, maybe she'll get a friendship with Benji, or maybe a dynamic with Ernesto about the grandfather, but that was already kind of there with Connor. I don't really see the need to rehash that. It's also, at that point, it would have been years, and I'm not saying people can't grieve for multiple years about their dead loved ones, but I don't foresee it at all. It would be a choice if that happened, but I can't see it. So yeah, Allie is probably one of the early boots of the season. Next up, we have Lake, and finally we have Lake. Lake is an interesting character just because I have like really mixed feelings about Lake, because her writing in DC2 is like it's in the top tier of the season, but that's not a high bar, and I think people tend to glaze her and think she's amazing, and I think she's kind of boring and all right. But that being said, she did get scuffed in All Stars. She really shouldn't have been in All Stars because you had to have her because she's such a major character. but when you look at who was in that cast, it's like, what is she gonna do? I'm happy with the short time she had, where she was standing her ground with Aiden. She called Ellie out, had that little thing with that little dynamic with Tess. I'm happy with the little we got of Lake, but I think this time around she is basically guaranteed to make merge. I think she's the only character here that I'm confident that she'll make merge. There's no way she's being pre-merge again. She got 8th place and then 17th place. Like, there's no way she doesn't have a deep-ish run. I know that she's one of Jared's favorites. She's more of a sleeper hit, honestly, because I don't think that she has like a massive fan base, but a lot of people love her. She's kind of like, I don't know. I'll say like mid merge, but I can also see her being like super endgame. I can see her being like 6th place, 5th place, something like that. I don't think she'll be in the finals, but I think that out of the female favorites, she's probably gonna be the furthest. I'm actually gonna put Natalia up here. I think Natalia will last a little longer, and this is very disappointing if Benji, and then the order for the DC4 characters I can see is Benji is the first one out of the 4, and then Natalia, and then we have a swap, Anastasia here, and then Spencer here. Spencer lasts the longest. It's a little not what people want. I'm sure people want Benji and Natalia to go further than Anastasia and Spencer, but that's what I can foresee because they have story. This could just be a fun season. I can also foresee this just being a slapstick comedy, happy, lighter season. That is possible. It doesn't need to be dark. I think that, I think that this can very easily just be a very lighthearted season. Like, DC4 is a more forgiving and kind season, but it's still, like, about trauma every now and then. I can see the season breaking the trend and just being lighthearted, goofy, fun. And if that happens, then the winner is probably Fiory or Gabby, then, right? But I don't know. We'll see. That's not what ONC tends to do, but you can break old trends. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to be kind to your friends and love them when they're around. Show them that you care. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time, if there is a next time. So bye.